Fine. So in last class we have seen like how we can use the type group, how we can create the type group, what are the use of the type groups, right? So mainly that is for the purpose of reusability. Okay. Some standard type group like SLEES and ABAP we have seen, and all the type group name must be started with the type group name along with underscore. So that part we have seen. Today we will look into the lock object. Okay, so let's go and see into the lock object. Okay, fine. So here we are having different types of lock. We'll come to the slides later. Here I'm going to tell you some basics about the lock. What is lock? So locking is actually used for the purpose of maintaining the integrity and consistency between the data, between the table. So if we want to maintain the consistency and integrity of the data in a table, we have to use the locking mechanism. What happens that whenever we are going to change the data in a table, suppose at the same time two or more than 2% is trying to change the data, there will be inconsistency in the data. That's where the lock concept come into the picture. That means if one person is going to change the data, at that time data should be in locking position so that other person will not be able to change the data and inconsistency can be avoided. So here this is for the purpose of maintaining the integrity and consistency of data inside the table. So that's the basic idea about the locking mechanism. That's the basic idea. So we will see that in the detail. Here actually we achieve the locking concept with the help of lock object. But before going over there, we will see what are the different types of lock. Okay, so let's understand the scenario. Okay, let's understand the scenario. One scenario is that we have a table and you are just reading the data into this table. Let us suppose we are having this table and we are reading the data into this table. So while reading the data, if someone is going to someone is going to change the data, you are reading the data, right? You are reading the data, but if suppose at that point of time itself, if someone is going to change the data, so whatever you have read, okay, whatever, suppose you have read that this purchase order is here 1 and the purchase order price is $10,000. Let us suppose. At this point of time itself, if someone is going to change the data, suppose they are marking at 20,000, you are going to tell to your manager that the purchase order price is 10,000, but when he is able to see the data, he is able to see 20,000. So there will be a confliction, right? There will be a conflict. Your manager will think that you are not doing your work properly. So here to avoid such condition, we have the concept called read log or shared log. Okay, read log or shared log. So what happens in the read log, when you are reading the data at that time, no other person will be able to change the data. Okay, once you complete your reading of data, then after only the other person will be able to change the data. So this read log is also known as the this read lock is also known as the shared lock. 2 person can read the data, 3 person can read the data, 4 person can read the data, multiple person can read the data, but if while reading the data, other person cannot be able to change the data. That's a concept called read lock. Here, that's what we have written it over here. Read lock or shared lock. Okay, if you just read it, that is the same thing. If one person is reading the data, another person will not be able to change the data. That's the meaning of read lock. Multiple person can read the data. That is possible. Write lock or exclusive lock. Okay, write lock or exclusive lock. Let's take this scenario over here. Here, meaning of write lock means, suppose I am changing the data. Okay, at the same time, other person will not be able to change the data. Okay, when I'm changing the data, at the same time, another person will not be able to change the data. He may be able to read the data. He may be able to read the data, but he will not be able to change the data. So that's the concept known as the, here you can see that, write lock, or this is also known as exclusive lock. This is denoted by E. Okay, this is denoted by E. This exclusive lock, this write lock or exclusive lock, this is also known as exclusive and cumulative lock. What is the meaning of cumulative? I will show you. Okay, the cumulative lock, just theoretically try to understand over here. In practical, today we will see. In the meaning of cumulative means, the same person will be able to put the lock multiple times in the same session. Okay, same person will be able to put the lock multiple times. So on the same table, suppose if you are going to put the lock in the same session, you have written one program. Okay, and there you are putting the lock on a table again and again in the same session. So certainly the number of lock is going to be increased. That's the meaning cumulative comes into the picture. Okay, so the same person can be able to put the lock multiple times in the same session. That is known as the exclusive and cumulative lock. Okay, so if one person is trying to change the record in a table, then another person won't be able to change the record in the table. That's we understood. By the same user and same program within the same session, lock can be applied multiple times. This we will see in practical also. Another is exclusive but not cumulative lock. It is same as the write lock only, but the difference between this write lock and exclusive but not cumulative lock is that the same person in the same session, in the same program, on the same table, they will not be able to put lock again and again. That is not possible. That is only one time is possible. That's the exclusive but not cumulative lock. And there is an optimistic lock. What is the meaning of optimistic lock? So the meaning of optimistic lock, let's suppose this is our data. Okay, and this data is being read by 2% at the same time. Okay, so let's suppose the Ram is reading the data over here, and at the same time Shyam is also reading the data. Shyam realized that he has to change the data on some particular moment. Okay, Shyam realized that he has to change the data, so he is going into the change mode and is trying to change the data. As soon as he will try to put the data into the change mode, for the RAM, he will not be able to change the data because optimistic lock is applied over here, because the optimistic lock gets converted into the write lock. Okay, so if you have the optimistic lock initially on a table over here, suppose I have applied optimistic lock. So when you apply optimistic lock, 2 or 3 or 4 people can read together, there is no problem, but any one of them is going to change the data, then that optimistic log gets converted into the right log. And when it's going to convert into the right log, in that position, in that situation, other person, other person apart from the person who is changing the data will not be able to change the data. That's the meaning of optimistic log. So theoretically, this is the things. Let's see in the practical. If you have any question over here, please let me know. When we'll see the practical, at that time, many of the answer will be automatically covered. So let me do one thing. The system is a bit slow. I'm going to another system. Okay, so fine, I don't remember this password. We'll see later. Leave it. Let's go into the system and how we can achieve this locking concept. There are 4 types of lock. Mainly we have seen there are multiple locks, but mainly these are the locks. Okay, mainly these are the locks which we generally use. /n. Out of this, only the read and write lock. That write lock means we have seen over here the 4 locks over here, right? So out of these 4 locks, this is the write lock or exclusive lock or exclusive and cumulative lock. This E type of lock and X type of lock is going to be used very frequently. This A's and this O, or there are other multiple types of lock, in custom development we don't use. This E and X is generally we use. Okay, so write lock is the most frequently used lock. So locking mechanism can be achieved with the help of lock object. So SE11, and here you can see that lock object. So whenever we create any lock object, 2 function module gets generated automatically. Okay, so whenever we create any lock object, whenever you create any lock object and when you activate this lock object, 2 function module gets automatically generated. What are those function module? One function module is known as the enqueue function module and another function module is known as the dequeue function module. Enqueue, this function module is just for putting the lock on the table, and the dequeue function module is to remove the lock from the table. So enqueue underscore the table name, dequeue underscore the table name. Okay, fine. Now we'll go here and I will show you some example. For example, let's suppose we have a program. So we'll see some program over here. So see, when we are going into the display mode, so SAP is having its own internal locking mechanism. So suppose if you were changing this program over here, okay, another people will not be able to change this program. Why? Because the lock has been applied internally by the SAP. Okay, so where we can see the lock can be seen under the transaction SM12. Lock can be seen under the transaction SM12. So you can come over here and you can look into the lock. See here, you can look into the lock. That on that particular, you can see that this is the name of the program. Okay, this is the name of the program. On this program, lock mode is what? X. What X we saw? X is nothing but over here this exclusive but not cumulative lock. Okay, so even the same people in the same session, right, will not be able to put the lock multiple times, right? So even the same people, even if you try, different session, obviously will not be able to open, right, in the same session here. However, it is not possible. So if you try, I will show you in the different session, right, the same program, if you try to open, it is not possible. Okay, if you try to change, right, you can see that it's not allowing. So this lock is actually what, x x kind of lock. So x kind of lock is not possible even in the same session, but this is not the right example to show. I will show you by when I'm going to develop one report. There we will see how that locking mechanism is working. So lock can be monitored under the transaction what, SM12. The lock monitoring transaction is lock monitoring T code is what, SM12. And suppose sometimes you come means generally, generally if lock is there, we are not supposed to delete the lock. If some lock is there, manually we are not supposed to go and delete the lock. Okay, that is very bad practice. But sometimes you come across a requirement where you don't have any other choice. In that case, what you can do, that you can go to the SM12 and you can, you can delete the lock. If you delete the lock, the same program you will be able to change into the, see here, it's giving the big information that be very very careful, you are doing the wrong thing, like that it is telling that it's not recommended at all. So now if you try to change the same program, I will be able to change because the locking has been removed. And you can see at the two places, right, one is here and another is here. At the two places we have opened the program into the change mode, which is very very dangerous, right, which is very very dangerous. So that's where the locking concept comes in the picture. And if you want, if some lock is not removed automatically, then from that point of time, generally what happens that if you come out from the program, this lock automatically gets removed. But suppose even if you have come out from the program, and if you are not able to see that your program lock has been removed, then in that case you can come to the SM12 and you can remove the lock. Okay, so this is the thing. Let's do one thing and come over here and let's try to create our own lock and how we can apply the lock programmatically. So whenever you are going to create the lock, you must have to start its name starting with EZ or EY. Okay, EZ or EY. In another object we have seen that it's going to start with Z or Y, right? Anything under the custom development must be started with Z or Y. Here EZ or EY we have to start. So EZ underscore, give the name of the lock object over here. So table name, yeah, any question over here? Okay, good. So give the table name on which you want to create the lock. So here you can see that this is the table which we have been using, ZMB25 22 EMP. So maybe we can give this table name Z EZ underscore MB 22 EMP. Okay, so on this table I'm going to create the lock object. Here the lock object for the table which I have copied, ZMB 22 EMP. Okay, fine. So here we have this, we have this one, and now we can come to the table section and we can give the table name. So Z MB22 EMP. On this table I want to apply the lock, and by default this write lock is coming. Just you can see that there are so many locks, right? Read, write lock, read lock, exclusive, not cumulative, set, optimistic. This first four one is generally usable, but out of this only write lock we use, write lock or exclusive, not cumulative. This is both is write lock only. There is a little difference in terms of cumulation. Okay, there are so many only collision, these, that, we use this. The first four is the important one. Okay, so write lock we have chosen over here. Now click on this add button, and here click on this, and here you can see that what it is telling, that the related table ZMB22 EMP is having the related table ZMB22 EMP underscore add, and this has been automatically selected over here. If you want, you can remove this one at this point of time. I don't want to have any question over here, or can you please mute from your side? Just a second. I'm going to mute everyone, and whenever you require you can just unmute and just let me know, okay, if you have any question. Okay, so I'm muted at this point of time, and if you have any question you can unmute yourself and you can ask, because I'm getting disturbed whenever some noise is coming. Fine. So here we have given this table on which we want to create the lock, and then we can go to the lock parameters, and here automatically you can see that automatically the primary key field is coming, because we would like to lock a particular record. We would not like to lock all the records, right? We would not like to lock all the records. So key field should be there as a lock parameter. Okay, activate this one. As soon as you will activate, two function module gets generated. Okay, two function modules gets generated, and that function module you can now come and see from here, display object list. Okay, click on this, and now let us see two function module. We will be able to see it over here. No, that is not actually. That should come like module. Okay, so I think here environment, utility, go to, yeah, here actually under go to lock modules we are having, and here we will see that the two function module which got generated. Just copy this one, and with the help of this function module, now in the program we are going to set the lock. Okay, with the help of this function module we are going to set the lock. So you can see that for we have created EZ underscore MB22 underscore MP. This is the lock object, and it has been prefixed with DQ, and one has been prefixed with InQ. So this is for putting the lock, okay, and this is for removing the lock. Okay, now let's come over here and we'll write one program /o SC38 and program number 16. Click on this create button, lock demo, executable program, and that's fine. Click on the save button, local object. So here our requirement is to modify the table. What is our requirement here? To modify the table. So let's go into the table. What we have, the table /o SC16N, our from SE11 also we can go and check out the content. This is my table, right? Press enter and just run it. I just want to I want to look into the particular record. So suppose I want to change this, 20 number employee ID. I want to change it. So what I want, while changing this employee ID, I would like to put the lock on this particular table for this particular record. Okay, so that when I'm changing the this particular ID, another program should not be able to read the data, this particular data. He has to wait. Another program has to wait until the modification takes place. So this is taken care by the SAP itself internally. So if suppose if I'm going to put the select a star on this table, and if lock is there on this table for this particular record, select will be waiting to get modified for this particular record. And once you are going to, so reading the data is nothing but selecting the data, right? Reading the data in terms of programming, reading the data means you are going to fetch the data from some table. Okay, so that's the meaning of reading the data over here when we are writing the program. Okay, so here I'm taking this example, 20 number employee ID, counter here passing, there is nothing counter, right? The counter is blank, and the salary, all these things. So we have to pass this. So maybe we can take this example because here counter is 1. Okay, the 99 and 1. Here key is blank. So let's take better this one. This is straightforward. 99 and 1. This particular record I want to change. 99 and 1. So let's go there to modify the table, and the table name I'll just copy from here, and the record number means the employee ID I want to change 99, and the counter equals to 1. This particular record I want to change. Okay, so I'm going to write this modify statements, right? So modify Z MB 22 EMP from right work area where EMP ID equal to 99 and counter equals to 1. Okay, we'll check that the syntax is correct or not. Okay, it looks like this is the correct one, but the thing is that this WA we have to declare first, right? Data WA type ZMB 22 EMP. So here let's prepare this WA hyphen this employee ID 99 and the counter is 1. That's fine. From work area, let's prepare this work area. Maybe we can prepare as a work area, for example, the employee ID, let's keep it the same employee ID 99 only. Okay, then WA hyphen the counter also we are going to keep the same. Counter equals to 1. WA hyphen control space give the employee name that equals to changed. Okay, and WA hyphen control space another height equals to 10. Okay, WA hyphen control space, and maybe we can take this salary equals to 10,000 like that I have taken. Okay, so this is the thing I want to just do. Okay, this is the thing I want to just do. So where condition I'm going to remove because already we are having the key field over here in this work area. So what the system will do, it will go and match the key field and that record only. It means first it will try to find 99 and 1. So if it is found over there, it will just modify, or if it is not found, it will just insert. That's the concept of modify, right? That's the concept of modify. So this where is not required. Okay, we can remove this one. So from work area, this is fine. Check the syntax now, and let's see if some error is there. W has no component called counter. It's telling no component called counter. Let me check what is this component. Oh, couter. Actually, the spelling mistake I have done. An employee name we have to give in the character format. Check the syntax now, and this is now it's okay. Pretty printer. So when I'm modifying this one, I would like to put the log before modifying the data. Okay, this is the better practice. Whenever we are going to modify something, we are supposed to put the log. Okay, so that is the recommended way. Generally we don't do, because it's a it's a fraction of second work, and internally even the SAP, for modifying something, SAP itself put the log. Okay, on this particular table SAP will put the log. Even so, if we're going to some do the select query or something like that, the SAP standard keyword if we're going to use at that point of time, you will not face generally some issue. But if you are facing some issue, this is the way how we can avoid this one using the lock object. So first we will put the lock. So come over here and we are going to put the lock, the two function module, this function module for putting the lock. Copy this one and come over here, paste it and click on this OK button. All right, so automatically mode is going as E, because E mode we have chosen, right? Mandate and all, just give it by default. Employee ID, what employee ID we want to put? 99 and 1, right? 99 and 1 is the employee ID. Okay, other parameter, this is not required, we can remove it. And the exception we can enable. It's always better practice to enable the exceptions. If some problem will come, we'll try to find out. So here, if size of RC not equal to 0, that means lock is unsuccessful. We can write that lock is unsuccessful. Okay, and here we can just exit, because if lock is not successful we will just exit. Or if lock is successful, means in else condition, that means size sub RC equal to 0. If size sub RC is 0, we have discussed many times, means size sub RC 0 is going to be if this particular function module has been called successfully and lock has been applied successfully. In that case, size sub RC will be 0. Okay, if some problem is there, size sub RC will be 1 or 2 or 3. One of these will be going to be. Okay, so in case of else condition, means if lock is going to be successful, then only modify the data. So programmatically we want to achieve the locking mechanism. Okay, programmatically we are going to achieve this locking. So this is actually the way. Sometimes we require to handle this lock, but generally when we are going to modify, we don't do this much things. Okay, we can directly write it. SAP takes care. But in sometime in the custom development, you will come across the requirement where you will have to handle. Otherwise, when you will start testing, you will get across. So you don't have to bother about the scenario when you will face such kind of scenario, or your reviewer will let you know. The more experienced person than you who will be reviewing your code, he may suggest you to put the log. Generally we don't use. Okay, check the syntax and you can see that it is now activated. Okay, here just to show you, this this lock mode, just come over here and let us see this data type for this lock mode. What we have, default is in queue mode. Copy this one. So here you can see that I'm passing this as a hard code. This is fine, but in debugging actually I would like to pass X and other kind of O. We are having different no. So for that purpose I would like to make it as a variable, so that in debugging I will I can change, right? So let's define one lv underscore mode type the data element, and lv underscore mode. Here by default I'm going to mark it as a E. Okay, and here I will pass the lv underscore mode. Fine. Petty printer, check the syntax, activate this one, activate this one. Now let's try to observe. Put the breakpoint over here. Okay, and let me close some unnecessary session which will lead to the confusion. So here and here we will open the SM12. Okay, so currently you can see that in SM12 we on that particular table we will not have any lock. This is on the program, this is on the program which is on the change mode, but on that particular table if you pass this lock mode, right? So in this lv underscore mode, uh, this mode we are passing, employee id we are passing, counter we are passing. So on this particular table the lock is not there, there is nothing related with the table, only one entry is over there. Okay, this is lock on the program because program is in change mode. Here demo 16, demo 16, right? Now just run this. Okay, and press F6. As soon as you will press F6, you can see the size of RC is 0. That means lock has been set successfully, right? Lock has been set successfully. And now if you come over here and refresh this one, you will see one more entry. And the argument you can see the 99 number, right? And the table you can see on this table ZMB22EMP on this table. The previous table was TRDIR. This is a table for the program. Okay, where the program entry will be there. Okay, so here you can see that this is the arguments 99 and 0001. So if this record, if you try to change in the program, it will not allow. Okay, because sorry, we have put the lock, and because after putting the lock, now myself, because I myself has put the lock on this, I can change the other people will not be able to change that particular record. They have to wait until I'm finishing the things. Okay, so come over here, I'm just modifying it, and it has been modified now, and we have come out also from the transaction, right? And if you just refresh it, automatically the lock gets released. Automatically lock gets released. How? System release the lock. Once you come out from the session, system will release the lock. Okay, so once again I'm just going to show you. Okay, and press F8. So lock has been applied, right? Come over here and you can just refresh this one. You will see that again the lock has been applied, and still we are in the session, so lock is there still. As soon as you will come from the session, press F6, and I have come from the session, and now if you refresh, the entry has been gone. So automatically lock after the program gets released. But understand a scenario where after this doing the modification, you have lot many code, you have 10,000 lines of code, right? You have 10,000 lines of code. So it will execute the 10,000 lines, right? For up to that much time, it has to put the lock on this table, right? So unnecessary wait means unnecessary lock on the table will be there, correct? Unnecessary, why to wait for the 1,000 lines to get executed if my work has been completed? Then we have to release the log. So for that purpose, actually the second function module we have. Okay, however, if you don't use this one, automatically after the session lock will be released. But it's better practice, whenever your work is done, quickly after that remove the lock. So go to pattern and give this dequeue function module and remove the lock. Okay, so enable this one, employee ID 99, counter is 1. Petty printer, check the syntax, activate this one, activate this one, and now you put the breakpoint over here and press F8. So now at this point of time there should not be any lock, right? Just refresh it, there is no lock because we have not applied the lock, right? Here my control is here, right? My cursor is here, and if I press F6, now lock has been applied. Okay, and now if we refresh it, the lock will be there. Okay, here the lock, you can see the lock is here. Now do the things. I am doing the modification. I have done the modification now, and after doing the modification, now I'm trying to remove the lock. Okay, so at this point of time, because this function module has not been executed, the lock will be still there, right? Now once you execute this function module, lock has been removed. Lock would have been removed. Just refresh this one and you can see that lock have been removed. So this is the use of this DQ function module. Okay, now what I want to show you, sorry, go to the program, and I want to show you, you can see that the different locking you have. This this E I am passing it over here. We have seen what are the modes, different modes we have seen. One was the shared lock, another was the E mode, another was the X. There is E and X. This is, you know, mostly we'll be using. So let's first focus on this. So E means exclusive and cumulative. So what is the meaning of cumulative over here? Cumulative means in the same session you can apply the lock 2 times. Okay, so I will show you. On the same table you will be able to apply the lock 2 times. Theoretically, just I'm showing you, generally we don't require to apply the lock 2 times, 3 times. I have never used, but the meaning I'm showing, maybe somewhere someday you might across if such kind of requirement, then you must have to use the E lock only. This is the default, we are using E only. Okay, default. So here I just check it and there is no problem. Activate this one, activate this one, and I have, so 2 times. Just remember, on the same code I'm writing it over here 2 times, right? This DQ one we can comment it. Okay, DQ I have just shown you for what purpose, how you can use. So 2 times on the same table I'm trying to put the lock. Activate this one, and now it is activated. Breakpoint. Okay, press F8. And here F6, you can see that F6 size of RC 0, and here you can see that lock has been applied, E lock. Okay, now again come to the program, F6, and here again I'm putting the lock. So lock mode is E. It will not create any problem because cumulative lock, on the same table 2 times lock will be applied, and this counter, if you observe now, it will become 2. Okay, so just refresh this. Sorry, here you can see that this counter has been updated to 2, right? Means the 2 times lock has been applied on the same table. That's the meaning of cumulative. So again, if you have some 3 times on the same table, 4 times on the same table, you can go and check from the SM12 on the same table how many times the lock has been applied. That's the meaning of cumulative. Now come over here in the program once again and press F8. This time we will pass the lock mode as X. X means exclusive but not cumulative. If X is the mode, right? So LV underscore mode, here I'm passing what? E. I'm going to change into the debugging. X, this one, press enter. So X mode we have applied over here. Press F6, right? And now just go here and refresh this one, and you can see that X mode on this I'm passing, right? X mode. Come over here, and again if you try to lock, right? Again if you try to lock with the X mode, it will not allow you, because in X mode that is not possible to have the cumulative lock. Press F6 and you see that size sub RC is 1. 1 means foreign lock. It is telling that already lock is there. You cannot put the lock. Size of RC is not 0. Okay, that cumulative lock is this counter will not update in this case. See, still 1 is there. That's the meaning, exclusive but not cumulative. That's the X lock mode. Read lock mode we have understood. If you are reading the data, if you are going to pass it the S over there, okay, so I'll just show you. So press F8, and the lock mode, you can pass this particular symbol, okay, the symbol S, E, X and O. Okay, so S we can pass it over here. Come over here and under the LV underscore mode, give the S over here. Yes. So I'm passing F6 over here. So read lock has been successfully applied. Size of RC 0, right? So now at this point of time, if someone would like to change the data, no, that is not possible. Okay, at this point of time, if some another person would like to change the data, that is not possible. Myself may be possible that I will be able to change the data. Let us see. You can see that modify and modify size of RC0 means I can change the data, but other person will not be able to change because I have applied, my user has applied the read lock and I can only do anything what I want. Okay, other people will not be able to change the data. Okay, that's the, so another people means what you can do if you want to demonstrate these particular things, you can log in the same system with a different user ID and you can try to modify this particular table. The system will stop here itself. You can just observe. Very interesting. Sometimes like when I have not the experience about this, so once upon a time I realized that my cursor was still there on the modify. It was not going ahead. In one of the support project I was there and it was still there. I was very much confused why it's not going ahead. So later point of time I came to know that okay, this is the problem because already one another program was running in the background and that has put the lock on a table, and that's why my cursor was stopping on the modify statement. It was not going ahead. So if you try to log in with a different user ID and will try to modify this particular table with the same key, that employee ID and counter, then it will stop. It will not go ahead. SAP has set the internally mechanism, okay, that if some lock is there, you will not be able to modify. Okay, so this you can just check yourself. I don't have the separate user ID over here. I will not be able to show you in this system, but this is the mechanism. And the optimistic lock over here, that two people will be able to read the data. If someone is going to put the lock, another people means someone is going to put the going to change mode, automatically the right lock will be applied. So here also two user will be required to demonstrate this optimistic lock that I don't have. Right here I was able to show you because this was possible, both the things on the same user, right? So with this we can stop our today's session. Here I would, yes.
So in general SAP standard terminology, whenever we edit anything, if some other user is also trying to do the same, SAP system will let them know that this is locked by some other user, right? That is the kind of locking thing happens. So when we are talking about this thing here, is this exclusively related to the programs? Like if I am trying to debug a program or trying to change a program, and if other developer is trying to look at the same program, that's when this works, or is it for maintaining?
Yes, I understood your question. Yeah, a very good question. Actually, like in a program, suppose you have written one program, you are going to write a program where you have to modify this particular table. This table, this is our data dictionary table, we have seen that this is our database table, ZMB 22 MB. So when we have to change this data, generally we don't have to apply this lock. This is not required. Okay, this is not required. But sometimes in the same program, actually, what happens that you have several other codes you have written where you would like not to do anything with that particular table on that particular record if already some lock has been applied. So for our custom development purpose, just to identify that if lock is already there, in that case we are not supposed to do anything with that particular records. Okay, so in that case we can go over here. Otherwise everything is taken care by SAP already. So if you go, like for example, if you have to change the data using the SM30, you might have observed that when you are putting the lock over here on a particular view, maintenance view, it will not allow some another person to change the data and enter the data into that, because SAP takes care of that things. But for our purpose, sometimes it requires, sometimes like I don't have any current example coming in my mind. I will share. I will get some good example. Sometimes it becomes very much valid. It becomes very much required. Okay, to identify, means to lock a particular record so that we ourselves will not be able to do any manipulation with that particular record. So just for our identification purpose, this such kind of locking mechanism we can apply. Okay. So this is the thing. So I will get some good example. Okay, and I will share with you some good and some Okay.
So, but it's not like if we are developing writing a program, it is a must and should thing to put this lock thing in it, right?
No, nothing. No. See, like if we're going to modify this table, no, right? SAP internally will put the lock. Internally, SAP will having their own locking mechanism. I don't know what kind of mechanism. At the same time, if you try to modify this table with the same key, it will not allow. You don't have to write this code and all. You don't have to write this code and all. But for our own development purpose, sometimes it requires. It requires to put the exclusive lock, to put the lock explicitly. Okay, for our own development purpose, sometimes it requires. Okay. So this kind of locking we should know, because sometimes it really requires. I'm not getting a good example over here. Maybe I will share you soon. I will get some good example. I've seen some places, many places, this modify statement you have seen, right? Before that, have you seen this locking kind of things? Many places have you seen, you just observe, many places you will see this modify statement, but you will not see that kind of locking mechanism. It is not required. Okay, it is not required. SAP takes care of these things. He will put the lock mechanism himself, but for our own custom development, sometimes it requires. Okay. Fine. Then any other question? Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, Pankaj, one question.
Yeah.
So
yes,
in this locking mechanism, in case of employee ID, we pass the 99. Is this mean it locks only a tuple, or it locks all the table, whole record?
No. Only that tuple. That's why we are passing this key field, no?
Okay. So
only that tuple. Other.
If somebody access other tuple, then it will be accessible.
It will be accessible. There is no problem with those tuples.
Okay.
Okay. There will be no problem. Okay. Any other question? So if someone is accessing apart from this tuple, there will be no problem. But if someone is writing like select a star, in that it will come, and at that point of time it will wait to get complete that that locking mechanism, after that only that select will work, as per my understanding, what I have observed, that need to be checked. Okay, because 99 and 1, on this 99 and 1 already lock is there. So I believe that when we are going to put the select, some other people is trying to read the data, in that case it will not allow. Okay, as per my understanding, this can be checked. Okay, so this is the concept of the locking mechanism. Fine, just save it, and now we will meet tomorrow with some another concept here. I will try to get some good example and I will share with you.
Is it on Monday we are going to meet, Pankaj?
Oh, sorry. Tomorrow is the Saturday, no? Okay, fine. Yeah. So, yeah, on Monday we will be meeting. Monday we will start again. We'll come into the program and we will start looking into the string operation, character operation, right? All these things is left. Sort, these things. So we'll start one by one from here. We'll start. Fine, then thank you very much for attending the session. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.